Are you looking for a community within Metro Detroit that offers affordability without sacrificing community services, school district, or location? Then Livonia is going to be pretty high on your list. And in this video, we're going to talk about all the things that make it a great community, but some of the things that hold it back a bit. One of the things that I admire most about Livonia is just how well thought out it is and how well run the community is. It's a city of nearly 100,000 residents at this point, and ultimately it's easy to navigate. There's a lot of community services. They just really take good care of their residents. So definitely a lot of respect for Livonia in that regard. Its location is really second to none as well in terms of Metro Detroit. Super easy to navigate. Whether you're heading to Detroit, the airport, or Ann Arbor, I mean, all of those places are super close. Downtown Detroit's about a 25-minute drive. So if you're heading to a Lions game or a Tigers game, it's super easy to get to. About 20 minutes to Metro Airport, which is the main airport that we take here in Metro Detroit. So it's super easy to get to that. And then if you take I-96 over to M14, you can hit downtown Ann Arbor in about 30 minutes. So it's really easy to get around to work or play, whatever it is that you're looking to do in and around Metro Detroit. Now, the convenience of its location is going to be something that you find important, because while Livonia has really good shopping and dining within its city limits, I would say that it's lacking on the entertainment and nightlife sort of aspect. Now, don't get me wrong, it's got public golf courses, it's got a movie theater, it's got even a Dave & Buster's, right? But what it's really lacking is a downtown area with a plethora of shops and dining that's all within a walkability type of radius. And so you will find that you end up venturing outside the city of Livonia to other places like Ann Arbor or Detroit, or even some of the other suburban cities, to go and kind of fill that nightlife void. Now, what it may lack in terms of nightlife, it makes up for in terms of active lifestyle, right? So if you're looking for a community where you can go and venture out to some parks, getting a good exercise, maybe play some golf or hit the gym, Livonia's got all of those options for you, all really city-sponsored options for you. Within the community, there's 1,300 acres of parks and walkable trails. Bicentennial Park, Rotary Park, it's right next to, and part of Hines Park goes through it, and then 3 community golf courses that are really honestly pretty nice courses for a municipal course, right? There's definitely a good, better, best, if you will, in terms of courses, but certainly a nice option to have those. And then one of the big features is Livonia's Community Rec Center, which is actually going through renovations currently to receive additional features for the senior community that's within Livonia. And that's actually one of the examples of what Livonia does really well, is, for instance, takes care of its senior community, right? So it's got a lot of community benefits, great library system, great education, things like that, but its senior community has no reason to leave because of how well Livonia takes care of that particular segment of the population. Everything from simple things like just a senior community center, where things like clubs and activities for that older generation, to homemaker services, connections with other people within the community that can help, take care of handyman type things, as well as, just general maintenance and cleaning of homes, as far as even having senior housing available for residents of Livonia that, decide that it's time to maybe downsize a little bit into a more senior-friendly community, but maybe don't necessarily need that additional assisted living. And ultimately, I didn't mean to go on such a tangent about the senior benefits, but I think it really kind of highlights just some of the level of service and care that Livonia has for its residents, and the fact that you could buy a house, frankly, in your 20s in Livonia, and you could live in that same house until you die, because it just is such a well-organized community. It's got a great school system and ultimately takes care of all demographics within the community. And that feels like a good place to jump into school district, which, frankly, for how affordable Livonia is, I don't think that there is a better school district in the area. Now, with that being said, Livonia is not the highest rated. And in fact, just to its west, you have Novi and Northville, which are some of the highest rated schools within the state. And Livonia is right up there in terms of quality, and it is much more affordable. Now in Livonia, you're going to be right around the median sales price for Metro Detroit as a whole. And so comparatively speaking, it's got a great school district if you're looking for a budget-friendly community. And so when I say median price point for the area, you can find a few homes that are a little bit cheaper than the median for Metro Detroit. You can find a few homes that are a little bit more expensive than the median for Metro Detroit, but you're not going to find, like I mentioned, Northville, Novi, that has $1 million+ homes, and Livonia just doesn't have that, right? These homes were built starting in, the 1950s and 60s, and frankly, you got a lot of 1,000-square-foot ranches all the way up to, 2,500 square foot colonials, but ultimately don't have these mega mansions that can warrant higher sales prices. And so with that is the trade-off. If you want to live in Northville, Novi, you're going to pay quite a hefty price. It's not going to be very affordable. Whereas in Livonia, you can still get a quality school system all the way up from elementary through middle school. I usually judge school systems when I'm doing my research based on the high schools. And so that's why Livonia is a little bit interesting, is because you have 3 high schools within the Livonia public school system, and 2 of them are, above average in terms of ratings, and then one being Livonia Stevenson is a 9 out of 10. And so what's interesting about this is this has a big driver on affordability and home values for that portion of the city. You could look at it as a chicken and the egg scenario of what came first. Was it the home sizes and values that poured, a higher tax base into this particular city, or are those homes, there because the school district was a little bit better? It's tough to say, but ultimately, people who know Livonia know that they want to be in the Livonia Stevenson school district, even if they don't have kids that are going to school, simply because the same house north of 5 Mile versus the same house south of 5 Mile is a different value because of that school district. And that's not to say that the other schools aren't worth attending, right? They're great schools still, and they have amazing facilities, as you can see. And ultimately, you're going to get a great education regardless of what school you go to. But for those people that have the budget and can afford it and really prioritize education above anything else, well, then it's hard to argue that, one's not better than the other. And, I might be biased because I went to that better school. And so, still got a little bit of alumni pride there, if you will. The other things that Livonia's got going for it that I'm not sure if I mentioned or not, but great public library, super highly rated police and fire that's well organized and dispatched quickly. The Livonia Spree, which happens annually at the end of June, which is a, local carnival and festival, followed by the Livonia Spree fireworks, which happen on the Sunday of the completion of that Livonia Spree. You have a lot of cultural arts programs. You have youth athletic leagues that are pretty big throughout the community, 2 local ice rinks, and just ultimately it's a pretty well thought out, well defined city. And really, I have nothing but good things to say about it. If you're curious at this point, because I did mention that I grew up there but don't currently live there, and the reason for us and our family was simply that we were looking for a little bit more space than what Livonia could offer us for the price. And ultimately, we were drew to a community that had a lot of growth and development going on. Livonia, having been so established, doesn't really have any new construction options. You'll occasionally see little neighborhoods pop up here or there, or individual new construction homes that come up about because of a home being torn down or there being a fire or something of that nature. But ultimately, it doesn't have a lot of growth and development space because the land is occupied and used at this point. We over the last decade have seen a cluster of neighborhoods open up because certain schools have closed because the student population declined enough that they were able to consolidate some schools. And so that city-owned property then was sold to developers and homes were put in their place. So certainly opportunities that have occasionally come up for those type of new construction, but that was really appealing to my wife and I at the time, and Livonia didn't have any options for us. And so we found ourselves in a different community. And honestly, there's trade-offs to both. We love that, we have, the neighborhoods that we do, but Livonia was super convenient and would have been a great place, close to family, close to shopping, close to work for us. And so still a great viable option for those people that are looking for affordable convenience and quality. That's what Livonia has. Hopefully you found that video helpful. If you did, if you'll do us a solid and hit that like and subscribe button, it will help us push out more content like this to the YouTube world. And if you're looking to make a move into the Metro Detroit area or within the Metro Detroit area, team and I would be happy to help. At least give you some additional guidance that we can't necessarily cover in these videos and help point you in the direction that might best suit your individual circumstances. Appreciate your time today, and I'm Ryan with Michigan Living.